your first kiss. How was that? Beautiful, scary, exciting. But you remember that, and you remember that feeling, and you remember that emotion. But now to something even more exciting. Do you remember your first working computer program? How was that? Exciting, beautiful. Yeah, I see I'm not on IT Developers Conference. It works there. But let's use it as an example of how emotion and memory is connected. I did that program when I was 13 years old, and it helped me to connect my beautiful analytical geometry and computer programming, which was rather new in these times. And that program did a spiral. 13 years old boy, it works. It was flood of joy. By the way, much more better than the first kiss, but it's another story. And I remember it, and I was able to recreate it when I have been preparing for this talk in just 20 minutes. After 40 years of the time I wrote it for the first time. Emotion is like glue. Emotion sticks. It sticks the moment, it sticks the feeling, and it sticks the knowledge. And it's not only my observation. Neuroscientists are investigating that for years. And why is that? It's in our brain. When something emotional around us just arises, our amygdalas just get triggered on because they are responsible for handling emotion. And our thinking just reshuffles to something I call winner takes it all. So it means only the strongest mental concepts are able to pass through, and they are getting as much energy as they can, and they are as much likely to end in a long-term memory. So, some example. Imagine you are walking in a wood, beautiful day, and suddenly you see a dangerous snake. What will you do? You probably won't be thinking, the sun, beautiful, grass, beautifully green, and look on that snake, these colors. It looks like the picture I have in my mobile phone. No way. You have to run. You have to run away. And this is how emotion helps us to survive. This is how emotion helps us to learn to survive. And this is how emotion helps us to remember to survive. The big authors of centuries are working with emotions, like Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, building up an emotion, building it up, balcony scene, down, up, lovers are dead, calm. And you probably remember these highest emotional points. And it's not only Shakespeare. What about Tolkien, Lord of the Rings? Up, down, up, down, up, but down, and then all the way up until the ring is gone. Beautiful, isn't that? And I remember all the points of the chart, and I remember the phrases connected with them. Because emotion is like glue. And now, what about us, teachers? How do we work with emotion? Yes. Flat. Because, we are teachers. We are university teachers. We are here to teach. Students are here to learn. They will pass the exam and go. And the next ones. And I'm thinking, if it works for Shakespeare, if it works for Tolkien, why wouldn't that work for me? Perhaps I would be a better teacher if I used the emotion. I am teaching data analytics, which is a beautiful discipline, by the way. And together with my colleagues, we are running the biggest data analytics programs in our country in number of students. But my personal mission is to show the beauty of data analytics to as many people as I can. Why? Because it's a skill of future. Because it's a skill which will help you to become relevant, not today, but in a number of years. It's a part of the critical thinking. And again, it's beautiful. But as soon as I'm widening my circle, I'm starting to just meet the people who are not thinking about that like me. They are thinking, it's a bit boring. It's not true. But my mission is just even challenge them and encourage them to try that. And flat teaching doesn't work. So I'm employing the emotion. And I like to share with you my story, how it started. It started here. Empty road, Grenoble, France. After one of my biggest teaching failures I had in my life. Yes, we teachers have the failures also. And how was that? Every January I am teaching in Grenoble, the French university students, the beauty of data analytics. And I used to teach flat. But in 1 year, I have got terrible group. They are just chatting from the first 5 minutes, being bored, not paying attention. It was torture for me as a teacher. So after the lesson, I had to go out to the fresh air, breathe, look on Grenoble beautiful mountains. And I told to myself, this is not the way I'd like to teach. I have to change because my mission is not to be boring. My mission is to show the beauty of my discipline. And I have to change. So I sat down and invented the data analytics game. And it was pretty simple. You own the restaurant in a city, you are selling the food to the city citizens, but you are not alone. There are other teams, other restaurants, and you are competing one to each other. And who will know the city more? He will probably win, and the data analytics helps. So overnight, I just made the first paper version and prepared some sample Excel files, and I played that the next day with the same group. Oh my God. The class was exploding by energy. Students were yelling. It was fun. They have enjoyed it. What a change. And by the way, in the end, I have got a review. It was the best class I ever had in my life. Oh my God. From boring to the best class ever. So it's something in that emotional game. So when I return back here, together with my colleagues, we just dig deeper in the game and we program it properly, and we have now the real online data analytics game. And we are playing with the students, hundreds of students every year. But we are not doing it like a flat teaching and then some fun game and go on. We are just flipping it in a way that we are using the emotion-based teaching. And how does it work? We just go to the class, first lesson, and we say, here we are, let's play the game, 15 minutes explanation, and they start. And suddenly the class, again, explodes, I'd like to win, I do not know how, let's do the data analytics, I do not know how, let's try that. It doesn't work, let's try this, it doesn't work either. Beautiful. As soon as the game ends, comes the critical point, and I'm calling it gluing on willingness to learn. So it means I ask students, what you would like to know to be better next time? What will help you to be winners next time? And they are telling me that. And I just teach that, no problem. But they like to learn that. But it's not enough. All the class has emotion lines, so next day or in next 2 days we are playing the game again, but we are changing the game engine, so it behaves completely differently. So the ones who have been playing that, like the first time, they are losing in first 2 rounds. And again, the emotions are popping around and, oh my God, it was working on Monday and today it doesn't work. What shall I do? I will lose. Beautiful. Again, build up, glue on, ask, come, teach. And in the end, we are having the game for the final prize. And it's not unusual that there are teams who are working overnight to just build the best analytical dashboard which will help them to win. And after years, they remember that. When I meet these students, they remember what they did in the final game, what was the strategy, whether it was working or whether it was not working. But they also remember they have just, by the way, learned data analytics basics, and they are using it in their life. I am winner. But not only me, but all of us are winners, because if the students are willing to learn, what else do we want? But I'm moving from the role of the teacher to the role of emotional director or director of emotions. So it means I have to provide safe space, emotion, positive emotion, please. Game works pretty well. Prize and directing the emotion and gluing on the willingness to learn. But it's not only about me as a teacher. It's all about us, all of us. We are parents. We are teaching our kids something. We are colleagues. We are trying to explain something in our circles. So for the next time, try not to be flat. Try to use the emotion at least once, and you will see it will work, and it will help you just to acquire our common mission. Because common mission of teaching, I understand that we are here not only just to help students to learn something new. Our mission is to help them to become someone new. It all starts with an emotion. Thank you.